Shalom brothers, this is Rakam, Compassion GMS London. So I want to start by saying all praises Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, double honors unto the apostle of GMS. Okay, and honors that there to the brethren in the highways and byways teaching his truth and sincerity. Okay, just a quick video, man. This article I wanted to, put out there, things that are happening between business deals being or trying to be done between the US and the EU to do with the private healthcare system. Okay, we all know that the UK has got its NHS, public health system, okay, which is run by the government, okay, who's funding that. Okay, America has a different system now, okay, well, okay, under Obamacare now, your state's running your shit, okay, but there's deals trying to be made to privatize the healthcare system in the UK and elsewhere in Europe also, okay, which could mean a lot of things, man, for people here in the UK. Okay, because I've not seen no document in the UK on the NHS talking about implantable devices, okay, when I'm referring to RFID chipping, okay, which is the mark of the beast. Okay, I've not seen no documents about that in the current healthcare system here. Okay, I know it exists in the Obamacare legislations and documents to do with the healthcare there. Okay, so if these deals were to be done, okay, and the NHS was to be made private, then basically they'll be running on America's tune, basically, and their regulations and shit. Okay, where that implantable device can be put basically in the UK health system and the rest of Europe, okay, as a mandatory thing, because if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, in the Obamacare document, implantable RFID chips are mandatory to receive in certain healthcare. Okay, so you're gonna have to get that done at some point. Okay, and we all know the chips being rolled out there already, okay, to certain people. Okay, but we're gonna read this article and we'll bring a few scriptures out. Okay, it says here, this is from RT. It says covert US-EU trade deal could make NHS privatization irreversible. Being said by the trade unions. So a group of high-profile trade unions have backed a growing campaign opposed to a new transatlantic trade deal, critics claim. Will make the privatization of Britain's National Health Service irreversible. Because basically once it lands into private hands, man, you're never going to get it back from them. Okay? So three of the UK's largest unions have tendered motions to the Trade Union Congress in Liverpool outlining their opposition to cross-border agreement currently being negotiated by EU bureaucrats and US delegates. While the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership (TTIP) is the largest bilateral trade deal ever brokered, it is currently being developed behind closed doors. Okay, he sort of likes to do things in the dark, man. Okay, not in the open. He ain't about laying out the truth for everyone to see, man. He likes to hide things, man. Okay, he as much as he talks about promoting transparency and all that shit, he ain't about transparency. He's about illusions. Okay, he's about illusions. He likes to do his shit in the dark to keep you away from what's really going on. Okay. As his critics caution, it threatens to culminate in a permanent privatization of NHS services by prioritising profit-wielding corporate firms over domestic lawmakers. Once finalised, UK Union Unite warns the deal would pave the way for US corporations or any firm affiliated with American investors to sue British government if it ever embarks on an effort to place privatised health services back under the public ownership. Such legal proceedings would be conducted in a secret court setting, the union says. Okay, once the final agreement is reached, MPs are set to vote on the deal. Speaking in the TUC in Liverpool on Wednesday, Unite Assistant General Secretary Gail Cartmel urged Congress delegates to oppose the TTIP and raise support amongst the people in the UK to demand Prime Minister David Cameron to keep Britain's health services out of the TTIP agreement. Okay, because like I said, all these American businesses and that are under the influence or under the control of the elites. Okay, the elites have an agenda. Okay, and that agenda is the RFID chip. Okay, so placing it into these in the health systems into the hands of these private companies, man. Okay, that's what they're going to be pushing. That's what they're going to be developing in these health systems. You know, because they're going to tell you, it's more secure, data this, data that, no loss of this, safer and all that shit. You know, like they always do. They always package it up nicely, but to make you feel safe. Okay, but that's what would happen. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if it went ahead, but at the same time, you got the two sides at the moment opposing and shit. Okay, but they at least get what they want at the end of the day. Whether or not these US companies take over or not, okay, the chip will still be implemented in the NHS system. They'll always get their way one way or another, man. Okay, because this is the elite's plans. Okay, and they plan to roll out this chip to everywhere, man. Okay. It says, reflecting on the danger of the TTIP, Cartmel said it is clear this government thought they could do this deal in secret, a deal that would mean the irreversible sale of our NHS to America. The union's assistant general secretary compared the privatization of Britain's NHS to that of the nation's energy sector, arguing claims that this sale will culminate in lowered energy prices, merely resulting in energy firms reaping record profits, while fuel poverty remains rife. Okay, so they're arguing the case that although you're saying that all this extra competition will make healthcare cheaper, more affordable, and better. Okay, all that really happens that the companies make more and more money off you. Okay, while nothing changes or gets worse. Referring to these energy companies, man. Yeah, they're making more and more profits, but like I said, it says here, fuel poverty remains rife. Okay, because they're always putting up the prices of energy here. Okay, and everywhere else they go. So Cartmel added, Wall Street financiers like BlackRock and Invesco are already heavily invested in the NHS. Okay, so they got their shares. Okay, over 70% of new contracts are now in private hands. Over 11 billion of our money in the hands of casino capitalists. It says, calling upon Britons to collectively campaign for the government to veto health from the TTIP. She said the British government had privatised the state's healthcare with no mandate and must not be allowed to sell our health services to America. As covert EU-US negotiations continue, a cross-border European campaign against the trade deal is gathering momentum. Environmentalists, trade unions and left-wing political parties from far-flung states in Europe are collectively voicing their opinion at the opposition to the TTIP. Some 10,000 people recently took part in over 600 separate events throughout Britain organised by the UK campaign group 38 Degrees. Oh, sorry, by the campaign group 38 Degrees. Sounds like some amazing organisation, man. In an effort to raise awareness about the dangers the agreement poses to British citizens. According to the campaign, the TTIP harbours profound socio-economic implications for Britons should it be passed. Okay, not everybody can afford healthcare, man. Might be priced out, man. Might mean the difference of you staying alive or not, man. Depending on what the problem is. Okay, might be out of your reach. Okay, and raises serious questions about the nation's political sovereignty. The deal would put the profits of big businesses ahead of our environment, our healthcare, and could even stop the government raising the minimum wage in the future. And 38 Degrees spokesperson said. The British government denies allegations the agreement is driven by the agenda of multinational firms intent upon marketing deregulation, which would seek to render NHS privatisation permanent and softer financial regulation. Labour Shadow Health Secretary Andy Burnham recently argued the NHS should be removed from the negotiation table and excluded from this deal, which threatens the fabric of publicly run NHS. So, well, this is a quote. So the market is, or his quote, the market is not the answer to the 21st century healthcare. The demands of 21st century care require integration. Markets deliver fragmentation, he said. Okay. So they're the sort of moves that the elites are doing behind closed doors, man. And I see it as a way to get that chip further out, man. Like I said, it's being rolled out, but that mass rolling out of the chips, man, has to still come, man. and these are like doors that are being, you know, pulled open so that can be done. Okay, opposition or not. Okay, regardless if any of that goes ahead, you know, if America can then get its hands on the NHS or anything like that, man, it doesn't really matter. Okay, because at the end of the day, it's still going to happen. Okay, the chip is still going to be implemented in these systems. Okay, without a doubt. Okay, but you know, these, like I said, these are the things that are happening that people are not, you know, really watching and not privy to, man. Okay, let's get these scriptures out, man. Okay, this is Psalms 83 verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Okay, all these councils, all these meetings that happen behind the closed doors. Okay, like we just been reading, man, to do wickedness against our people, man. Okay, to get us to take the chip, you know, and you know, reject God. You know, these are all crafty and wicked devices, man. Okay. Today they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. Okay, all these nations are against us. Okay, and they've all cut us off from our identity, man. Okay, and it's being brought back through the power, the spiritual power of the Most High. Okay, through the prophets. Okay, it's being brought back. Our identity is being brought back to us. Okay, but these nations prior to this have cut us off, man. And we had no idea who we was. We were what we was told we were, man, by the so-called white man, and we accepted that because we didn't know anything else, so we had to. That's why he called us Africans, man. Okay, so everybody in America is a, you know, Afro-American, man. Our people, or native Indian. You know, North American Indian, or Taino. Okay, all these names that he gave us that we've then taken to be truth because we believed he knew, because he took us from them places, or he met us in those places, man. Okay, but he actually fucked us up, man. Fucked with our heads, man. We generation after generation, man, we lost our identity, man. Okay, and all these nations, they know, the elites of their nations know who we are, man. Okay, but they're confederate, like the scripture tells you, man. They want us to not exist. Okay, so that's what they're trying. That's what they're trying to accomplish. Okay, and you know, eventually they want to destroy us all. Okay, but you know, it gets with that shit for them. Okay. All right, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. And it says here, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay, we're not ignorant of the so-called white man's plans, okay, the elite's plans. Okay, that's why, you know, we bring out articles like this, man. You know what the devil intends to do. Okay, so we watch the news, okay, we read certain documents and things like that. And we keep up to speed of what's developing around us, man, being circumspect. Okay, you can't not be watching for these things, man, because it will overtake you. Okay, and like the scripture tells you, the majority of people is going to come as a thief in the night because they're not watching. Okay, if you are watching, you won't be taken by surprise. Okay, so we watch these things develop as they go along, and we bring it out to the people, man, to our people. Fuck these other devils, man, but to our people, man. And everyone wants to take notice of this, man. No, you do well to take notice, man. You know, hopefully you'll open your eyes, man, to the things the shit that is swirling around you, man. Because right now everybody's in that fucking sink, man, that fucking toilet bowl, the shit that's swirling around you, man. And you need to get up out of there, man. But the only way you can get up out of there is, you know, getting into the scriptures and knowing the wisdom and understanding of the Most High, man, that is contained in the scriptures. Okay, and knowing your enemy. Okay, that's all wisdom.